All right, so this video, I'm going to do a quick overview of the new pricing tool. So this is going to be a real high level look. I'll shoot some separate videos going into more detail on actually using the tool, but this one is just more just kind of a quick glance at it. So over here, there's really three factors that we need to know. We need to know the ARV, we need to know the rehab, and we need to know the classification of the rehab. So what number we're going to assign to the rehab. So, but you just when you plug in the ARV and the rehab, it's going to populate each number by a percent all the way down to 60% of ARV minus rehab. So this is your standard way of looking at rehabs, which is ARV times percent minus rehab gives you your purchase price. This is how all investors have done it since beginning of time. Um, and it's just a standard way of looking at it. So let's take a look at the really two different tabs we're going to go over. We're going to go over this tab, well, three tabs. We're going to go over the single family pricing gauge, and we're going to go over the condo townhouse pricing gauge. So, and this is the main tool we're going to be using, which we're going to be basing most of our work off of these two classifications. So we've got, or these two columns, we've got single family homes right here. So we classify single family 1 through 5. All right. So we got our 1 through 5 here. If you classify something as a level 5 rehab, you're going to be using rehab numbers on level 5. If you're using level 3, if you classify this flip as a level 3 flip, then you're going to be using rehab numbers on level 3. And then to go on a little more depth on that, you're going to use a square footage range on your project. So, for example, if you have a level 3 flip that's 1,500 square foot, you know you're going to be somewhere in the middle of this range. Okay, so you know you're going to be around 75, 85,000. If you're 2,000 square foot on a level 3, you know you're going to be around 100,000. And again, if you're around 1,000, you know you're going to be between 65 and 80. Okay, so there is some give here depending on what the depending on what's going on with the project. I mean, if it's 1,000 square foot complete trashed house, yeah, you're gonna, I mean, roofs and windows and everything, you're gonna be more inclined to use the 80 versus the 65, right? This is where it has a little bit of leeway in there, and that's fine because we need to have some leeway in these. Like here, you got 100 and you got 90. You're back down to 90 on a 2,000. Okay, that just gives you some leeway because if you're looking at something that's really beat up or looking at something that's really clean, you have some give and take on those numbers. All right. So, and then we've got our classifications of condos and townhouses. All right. 1 through 3. We don't have 4s and 5 townhouses. We don't really see level 4 type of townhouses. And we definitely don't see, not normally, I've seen a couple, but structural townhouses, meth houses, and those type of condos. You just don't see a lot of those. In fact, if you see it, I've seen one structural condo in my time. And we're not going to really mess those because when you got a structural condo or a townhouse, those buildings are attached to other buildings, and really that's an issue with the HOA to deal with, and we're not going to be really get involved in those. So really, we're just going to be in level 1 through 3s. So let's go through these real quick. A level 1 is, I mean, you can almost just move into the property. It needs carpet, it needs paint. The kitchen and bathrooms and they're not going to be brand new, but they're going to be pretty darn nice, like maybe updated in the last 20, 15 years. Or if you're looking at a house built in 1980, it might be the original kitchen, but you can almost go in there and just put in some new appliances, clean it up, and run with that. Not saying that every investor will. They might go all the way and just redo everything, but they have that option to leave those kitchens and bathrooms. These houses are usually built from 1975 plus. Okay. Numbers 2s and 3s. Let's see if we can. Yeah, you can't really. I need to stretch this out a little bit. That's what I'll do. There we go. All right, so number two is, and number threes are usually built between 1940 and 1970. You know, there are a lot of the 50s and 60s and 40 houses. Number twos, we're going in and carpet paint, replacing kitchen and bathrooms, but that's pretty much it. Okay. If you need to add, if the roof is bad or the HVAC's bad or it needs windows, and we'll go into more detail on this. If it needs a couple of those type of things, or even one of those things, we're moving into a level three type flip. And then if the house is in really rough shape, needs everything, you know, windows, roof, that notes that the electrical system's bad, you know, and you just go, it just, you can just tell, you'll see those once in a while, that it needs everything. Then you're moving into level four. Also, you'll use number four when we're really looking at houses downtown Denver. We haven't touched that market because it's such a different market to price out the rehab. Now we do it. Now we can do it. All right. So if it's in an early 1900s house in downtown or really anywhere in the Denver metro area, we can pretty much expect that we need to go in and do a complete new layout, new electrical, and so on and so forth. So and also, you can use level four in the really high-end houses, $1 million plus. All right. The last one are the worst of the worst: fire houses, meth houses, structural houses. These are houses that we know we're having to go in and either do a total gut, do foundation repair, whatever. So these are the worst of the houses. All right, so going into percents, you see these two different percents here. So why based these percents? This is our target percents. This is our sell, what we're going to be aiming to sell it at based on what we've seen solds at. And this is what we're going to be roughly looking to buy it at. This is the minimum. So if you go 0.77 or 0.76 or even 75 on a number one and you get it, great, right? If you think you can get it, go lower. But these are the bare minimums right here that we really, because after, if we're buying something at 0.8, 80%, and we're making 1% on a $300,000 house, I mean, that's like 3,000 bucks, right? So it's not really worth our time to go chasing after those. So these are our minimum percents, all right? Same here. So you got your target sale prices, percents, and we've got our minimum sales price that we're going after, all right? Let me go into condos and townhouses real fast on the flips, or the classifications. So number one, good condition, carpet and paint, right? Number two, carpet paint needs kitchen and bathrooms. Number three is one or two add-ons. So either it's a carpet and paint needs kitchen and bathrooms and maybe windows, or maybe needs new HVAC, or you know, we need to finish out a basement. We see that a lot on some of these townhouses. So the basement's unfinished, and for us to get that property to the level of the level of comps that we're comping to, we need to build out a basement. We would be using level three here. We've missed out on a lot of townhouse flips because we've improperly um, priced out the basements. We've gone in too high and we don't sell the property because our rehab numbers are not correct because the basement needs to be done. Now, when you see a level three, you know you need to be around the 79, 73%, and you know your rehab numbers are right here. Now, let me just say real fast, these rehab numbers will change depending on the market, and these percents will change depending on the market. And let me go into that real quick. All right, so let's go into our single family pricing gauge. So this is how we determine our percents here. Really, these percents right here are determined by our pricing gauge. These are actual solds from other wholesalers, mostly New Western right now, but we can also put in solds from the MLS on beat up properties that we're chasing, or are not even chasing, just ones that we see and we pulled, and we want to pull them in, plug them into our pricing gauge. You can see the level ones are up here. The level twos are getting more into this range. We do have some up here, but for the most part, we're down here in this range. Level threes, we're moving down into the 7.7, 7.6 range, even down to 7.3s. Level four, we're down to 7.5s, 75%. And level 5 flips were in the 70s and 60s. Okay. So that's the same with townhouses. So we got two different tabs. We got a single family house or property pricing gauge that has the actual solds of what's going on in the market. We will update this every week. I actually put in here solds from July, and they were all the way up here. July's were up here, and these 8.9s, crazy, just like that crazy market that we're in. That's where things were selling at. And you can immediately see once we get into August, September, October, things were starting to drop down here. That's the adjust in the market that I didn't pick up on last month, and why I only sold one property when I put three under contract, is because I didn't really understand what this adjustment was. Okay, so same with townhouses. We'll be tracking those solds too, and most townhouses are going to be up here in this range because they're usually pretty easy. All right. I mean, they don't, there's no external fixes on townhouses and condos, right? So hence why our rehab numbers are vastly different than single family homes where you got to put on roofs, you got to put in maybe siding, paint jobs, landscaping, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So that is a high level look at this pricing gauge. I will shoot separate videos on going into actually using this tool in a separate video. But that's pretty much it for this.